Hey, sorry to cut you off there, but we want to give you guys a little sneak preview of this year's marching band show. That's going to be the very beginning of our show. That's our first little rough draft of it, called A Novel Idea. We talked about that in the last video. Um, Welcome to the boring part of the two videos that we have put out so far. This is where we're going to kind of go over all of our paperwork for the season. Um, so, yeah, buckle up. It might kind of be a long one. I'm going to kind of read through everything slowly just to make sure we all have an understanding of what's kind of going on, how the program functions. If your kid is going to get this packet today, and after they come back from rehearsal, don't panic if they are someone who is on the Washington, D.C. trip right now, or if they just weren't able to attend rehearsal. I'm going to print off some extra packets. We'll have a stack in both the band room at the high school and at the middle school with Mr. Komet. That way, when you get back from your trip, I think you guys get back Friday. You can run by the band room and grab one, or you can pick it up Tuesday after school or sometime during school. Then we'll kind of go over everything slowly, so the parents that don't get that packet in person or don't have it in their hands today can at least like visualize everything and have an understanding of what it is they're signing up for and can get everything in by the due dates. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. This packet is going to be due on June 1st. So that is going to be on Tuesday, I believe. Just keep that in mind, and let's try and have that in from everyone. First of all, welcome to the Southgate Anderson Marching Band. The music program in the Southgate Community School District provides both a high-quality instructional program and extracurricular activity for your child. In 2019, the marching band competed as a state finalist at Ford Field for the 16th consecutive year. Obviously, we would have last year if it were not for the pandemic. We didn't hold state championships last year. In addition, we participate in Heritage Days, parades, other community events. We kind of talked about that in the last video. But one thing that I really want to point out is that your child's participation in band is going to make them one of the highest achieving students in the school, and that you're just making a great decision by signing your kid up for marching band. We're gonna take a look over all of this information. After we do that, maybe rewind, watch it again, or at least go through it again with your child, so you both have a thorough understanding of kind of what's expected and how the season functions. Please understand, here's a big one right here. I just can't emphasize this enough. If you wish for your student to participate in marching band, the July and August camps are 100% mandatory. Like, not just do they have to be there every day, they have to be there for the entirety of every single day. They will miss too much information to be able to keep up if they're not at our camp dates. Cool. So please return the pages that need filled out by June 15th. The application we'd like to have in by the first, preferably health information as well. We'll kind of get down to that. If you can get everything in by the first, that's incredible. And you are an overachiever and you're going to be our favorites. Important band contact information. Here's information just for contact myself. I'm the associate director of bands. I oversee the marching band, the winter guards, the jazz bands. Mr. Walter is the head band director at the high school. And Mr. Komet, obviously, most of us know, is at the middle school where he teaches the band and choir. Below the three of us, we have our contacts for the boosters. They're absolutely incredible people. Our programs would not be able to function or thrive without these wonderful volunteers. So if you need to check out, or if you need to get in touch with any of them, their contact information is there. They are so great at getting back to people in a super timely manner, and they're very friendly and approachable. So don't be afraid if you have any questions. To stay on top of the latest happenings, events, and meetings and all that fun stuff, stay tuned to your emails. That's the way that myself and Mr. Walter and the rest of the boosters will communicate with you more often than not. Just always stay on top of your email and make sure it's up to date in Charms. Charms is a kind of a office, like a music office suite that we kind of use. We'll get down to that later in the paperwork. You can find some information too by looking at our band's website. We also have a Facebook group. If you search Southgate Anderson Band Boosters, just be advised that myself and Mr. Walter don't usually disseminate information out through Facebook. We kind of keep our lives on social media a little more separate and personal and not mesh with the professional lives, because, that's we need some separation in our lives. If there is like an emergency or we have to change something really quickly, we'll blast it out in charms. We'll throw it on the Facebook page. Like we'll get everything out there if there's ever any sort of emergency schedule change or anything like that. Just so we can get it to as many people as quickly as possible. Cool. Next page, the directions for your application. Read through all this. Read through it again. Read through it a third time. After that, read through it 3 times with your child. I understand it's a lot, but once we kind of digest all of it, we have a thorough understanding on how the program works. After you've done that, feel free to like come to me with any questions. Feel free to shoot any of the band boosters an email to kind of ask them what's going on. And if you have any questions, we're just gonna be glad to help you out. But we just understand like this is a lot of information, and we're not going to fully digest all of it unless we kind of look over it a couple times. Feel free to go over this video several times. I'm going to leave it up. You can always like scroll back, hit the pause button. The band boosters have reviewed the overall costs and the volunteer commitments that are needed to support this season. Everything regarding that is going to be outlined in this packet. Please fill out and return the following by June 1st. The marching band registration form, your health history, the medical emergency care authorization, signature page, and a copy of your child's health insurance card and your driver's license. Marching season is not cheap. We realize this. We've made every attempt to make this financially as easy as possible for you, and there are several programs that we have that can help ease this financial burden. One thing is a payment plan. I talked about it earlier in the first video. If this payment plan doesn't work for you, or if marching band in general is just something that's not affordable for your family, please don't be afraid to reach out and talk to me. I refuse to let marching band be prohibitively expensive for anyone. If your child wants to be a part of the band, we want to have them a part of the band, and we can find scholarships, we can adjust payment plans, maybe spread them out across an entire year. We're going to do whatever we need to do to make sure your child can do band. The first of 5 payments, every payment's going to be $150. It makes it really easy, and they're going to be due on the first of every single month. So your first payment will be due on June 1st. The 2nd through 5th payments, July 1st, August 1st, September 1st, and October 1st. I understand that June 1st is kind of coming up quickly. If that's something that you can't make happen right away, just communicate to us. Like we're totally fine as long as we're in constant communication about when we can expect payments. Then we know when we can start planning on spending money on things. Most of our expenses I mentioned in the first video really come before band camp happens. And we do plan every single year to roll over with a certain amount of money to make sure that we have that little bit of cushion throughout the summer. So if making that first payment is tough for you, just reach out to me. We're going to make it work for you. Please note your 5th and final payment will be waived completely if you fulfill the volunteer commitment that is outlined in this packet. That'll also be kind of a little bit later, a few pages down. So really, rather than $750, marching band costs $600, which is less than half of what it was last year. A minimum of $450 must be paid, or a payment plan approved by the treasurer must be in place by August 1st for you to attend the week of band camp and continue with the marching band. There's no exceptions to this. So it's either $450, we're just up to date on our plans, or we have a plan approved. So we, like I said, as long as we're in constant communication, everything's going to be great. We are absolutely judgment free about your situation. If you have financial burdens, we understand that this pandemic has been brutal on all of us. And as long as you're open with us, like we're going to make it work to make sure your kid can be in the marching band. Cool. First year members will also see order form included in this packet. I'm going to have to get that order form in this packet. That might come at a later date because I did not have that in my Google Drive. Uniform deposit, first year in band only. I believe we are not using the uniform deposit anymore. Black marching shoes, so your child will need bibbers, which are the pants that we use for our marching band uniforms, and black gloves. You'll get your first pair of gloves for free, but they get kind of dirty and torn up. So you're going to want probably 2 to 3 pairs for the season. We will get an order form out for those. It probably won't come with this pack, but we'll get it out quickly for you guys. Few ways to make a payment. Check and money order. You can pay to Southgate Band Boosters. Student credit, if you have any available credit in your account from personal fundraisers or anything like that. PayPal says coming soon. We do not accept payments through PayPal anymore. But we are looking at an option to pay through Charms, which should make it so much easier on everybody. We will not accept cash. Like that just gets way too messy with as many kids in our program and how much money we handle. Easiest way to pay, check, money order, and then hopefully pretty soon we're gonna have something set up through Charms. If you ever have any question about the student credit in your account, you can contact the email address there, or preferably reach out to Brandy, our treasurer, at spbtreasurer1@gmail.com. Each box, each band room, both in the middle school and high school, has a box mounted to the wall. The one in the high school, when you walk in the band room doors from the outside, is right on your left on that wall. And if you walk into the Davidson band room, it is kind of attached right to Mr. Komet's office. We prefer if things can be placed in the high school band box, just because we check it more frequently because we're there more often. But your child can drop anything off, or you can drop them off at any band box, and that's where we put our payments. Please do not give payments to myself or any staff members. We don't handle the money. That is strictly a booster thing. So usually if you come up to me and say, I have this, I'm going to say, where does it go? In the band box. Next page. So in addition to money or anything like that, we're going to return any required forms into the band box, and you want to just put it in an envelope and just write marching band on it. With all the band programs, we want to make sure that we can quickly separate things and know where everything's going to go. Please do not just fold up all your paperwork and throw it in there, because we've had cases where everything kind of comes undone. Stick it in an envelope. I usually have envelopes available on my desk if you really need one, but there we go. Script. Script is a program that helps us earn money to pay off your band fees and the band related expenses. Basically what it is gift cards. You buy gift cards at face value, and the retailers, in return for us selling gift cards, give a percentage back of the value of the gift card back to the band program. So for example, here you can buy $200 CVS pharmacy gift card from the band boosters for $200, and CVS gives us 6% or $12. So, and then 75% of what they give us is going to go into your student credit, and the band program keeps 25%. The gift cards can be used just like cash in any CVS store. We all know how gift cards work. Scripts available for things like groceries, gas, clothes, restaurants, and hundreds of retailers. Percentages vary though, depending on what company it is. Jenny Anderson is running our script program. So if you want to purchase gift cards or anything like that, reach out to her. I know we have band families that they get a gift card for where they do their grocery shopping, and that's money that you're going to spend anyways. So you might as well spend that money and have some of that money come back to your child's band account. It's a really great program. Moving on. 10, background checks. Anyone who volunteers, I kind of talked about that in the first video, or is around any of our children, has to have a background check on file from the district. Not just one, I put 2 in this packet because we can have mom and dad. We can both fill one out and be involved as much as we can. There's absolutely no exception to this rule, though. Every single parent who is around the kids has to be up to date on a background check, and they expire every 2 years. If you think you need one or have any questions, please get in touch with Martha. And I put in bold here, nearly every background check that we already had on file has expired, just because we didn't do anything last year, so we didn't really collect any background checks or anything like that. Our list went from very, very large to very, very, very small. So I included those in here, and just if we can turn that in with our paperwork, that'd be awesome. Scrolling down. Cool. The calendar. That's why I put it in big font on its own page. The calendar can be kind of crazy and can be kind of daunting. It's most helpful for you to download the calendar directly to your phone. The reason for this, or like you can kind of like sync it with your calendar app. We use a Google Calendar like most places now. The reason that we put this on here is oftentimes when you load the calendar on our website, we have these two little things here on how to get to the calendar on the website. Sometimes when you're on your phone, for some reason, the website doesn't like to format the calendar very well. So sync it with your calendar, pull up the website on a computer and print it out. We just didn't want to waste any more paper than we're already throwing at you guys. At the end of the day, it is your child's responsibility to understand the band schedule. We like one of the most, it's just a pet peeve of mine, getting an email saying, when is this supposed to happen? What's going on this day? Like, it's on the calendar, and marching band is an activity that really is going to be a huge course in time management for your child. They should understand when rehearsals are, when competitions are, when they have to be where. We are very transparent with these things, but again, we want to make sure that we're always training our kids to understand where they're supposed to be and when, so they can manage their time effectively into the future. In the future, the signature page. You're going to want to check all of these and sign at the bottom. Being up to date on the payments. Can't attend can't be in marching band if they're not in camp. They must have a show shirt for camp. It's provided by the boosters. They'll get that at band camp. You must purchase your child black marching shoes, bibbers, and gloves. If you are a student who needs new bibbers or anything like that, or has grown, we definitely want to get in touch and get you some of those. These must be ordered through the uniform chairperson. Child will abide by all Southgate schools dress code. Pretty much a no-brainer there. Southgate band boosters and Southgate schools are not responsible for any of your child's lost, stolen, or damaged property while at any band event. You authorize pictures of your child to be taken by the school district and the band boosters. You understand that one of the fundraisers that we're going to have is to sell 10 TV tickets. You can buy out of this for $30. I think we sell each ticket for $2. So just buy 10 tickets for $2 and have a chance at winning a TV. It's an easy fundraiser for the band. Then you also understand that volunteering is a super vital part of the band boosters. And you can throw your name and phone number down here and email address, and yourself and your child will sign there. The parent contract. Member and parent contract, sorry. Member section. I print your name, accept membership into the Southgate Band program. Your commitment begins as of now. You agree to participate fully in all rehearsals, yada, yada, yada. Parent section, basically the same thing. In addition, you agree to the following: be up to date on payments, understand that all rehearsals are mandatory. A lot of the stuff is the same as the page above. We just really kind of want to stress it. You've read and understand all the programs, school district rules and regulations. You understand black marching band or marching shoes, all that. Understand the athletic code of conduct from the school district, and you abide by that. The next form is a medical release. If you're under a physician's constant care or were within the last 18 months, we need them to release you to do marching band, stating that they're aware of how strenuous the activity is and that you're able to do said activity. Under here, list any and all known conflicts. If you know something that you have planned this summer, let us know right away. We can update our spreadsheets and kind of have most of that filled out for the summer. It's a lot easier than hearing a week or two before that you can't be at rehearsal, and it helps us communicate to our staff, and it helps us and our staff plan more effectively for rehearsals when we know exactly who's going to be there. That being said, all absences are subject to approval by myself or Mr. Walter. We know the camp dates are super, like you've got to be there. The summer dates are a little bit more flexible, but like we mentioned the page before this, you're expected to be at everything, and it's expected that you schedule around all band events. Here's more on script down here. This is just kind of so you have everything all in one spot after you start to turn forms in. Student credit, information on that. Dues, we talked about that at the beginning. Parades, basically this just says that you're expected to be at parades when we have them. We, at the very least, do the Southgate Heritage Days Parade every single year. We're kind of disappointed that it's not happening this year, but next year we'll be there, and it's going to be great. Home football games, you're expected to be at football games. Failure to perform at football games and fulfill your expectations while we're there could alter your role in the program. You might have to sit out for a competitive show. We might have to just go to football games. Do what you got to do. Rehearsals. Some rehearsals deviate from the normally scheduled rehearsals due to holidays, school functions, etc. Sometimes we also don't always meet in the parking lot field that we have. Sometimes we're going to get to use this new football stadium, which is going to be pretty cool. And sometimes when there's really inclement weather, we're going to be inside the high school. So we'll always communicate that to the kids when they get here. Just understand that if you drive by and the kids aren't in that parking lot, they're still in band rehearsal. We're just probably at a different part of the school, either inside or on the football field. Attendance, again, can't stress this enough. At all rehearsals is mandatory. Marching band is an activity where, like, if we have someone who misses every single day, we're spending every single day catching another person back up, and we're not able to make progress. Also, if we continue to just attempt at making progress when we have kids who are absent, it's next to impossible to catch up quickly, and it can really become dangerous on the field, especially once we add moving and playing. So you've got to be at everything. It's a performance concern, but more importantly, it's a safety concern. Those who follow the rules when it comes to attendance are going to be rewarded with performing. Those who do not follow the rules will be disciplined as necessary. Again, in all bold, attendance is required. Your role will be altered if you miss one or multiple rehearsals. If when it comes to being absent, parents, not students, need to contact myself or Mr. Walter. And especially like if it's sick or if it's sickness or anything like that, get in touch with us as soon as you can. But if it's something that you know about in advance and that there's a potential conflict, please reach out to us at least 2 weeks in advance, as soon as absolutely possible. One thing that we won't do is respond to Facebook messages or texts. Parent needs to email us. That is the only way to be excused from rehearsal. School discipline. If you're suspended from school, you're suspended from marching band. It's as easy as that. One of our philosophies, our biggest philosophy, is to create better people first and better performers second. If you're not doing great in school and doing what's expected of you in school, you're not going to be doing what's expected of you in marching band. So we're going to follow any school guidelines, anything like that. You're suspended from school. You're suspended from the band. Being a team player. Basically, when you commit to being a team player when you join marching band. Conditioning. This is kind of a big one. Some of us have kind of gotten a little taste of this. We haven't done a whole lot of conditioning yet, but have gotten a little bit of a taste over how physically demanding marching band is. And really, we've only taught the kids how to take 8 steps with the proper technique so far. We're going to condition all throughout the season. Our season is what we do is a lot of work. Conditioning is not optional. It's going to help prepare our bodies for performing an 8-minute show. If you're capable of marching the show, you're capable of conditioning. We have some people who try and say, "Oh, I can't condition. I don't feel too great," and then they jump into rehearsal. Well, what we're doing is very, very demanding, and the conditioning prepares ourselves for that. If you can't condition, you definitely can't participate in rehearsals. Equipment. Any school-issued equipment needs to be treated like gold. We were very, very fortunate that this last bond passed. Thank you for those of you who voted on that, because a large percentage of that went towards getting us some brand new instruments, and especially outside, like that's already upping the risk level in making sure that they're in tip-top shape. So if anything gets damaged or anything, you need to report it immediately. You break it, you buy it. Just take care of what you have. When you do borrow equipment, it's expected that it's only going to be in your hands. We're not handing instruments to other kids or anything like that. You're responsible for taking care of it. Equipment expected for each performer includes your personal instrument. So this is every day what you need to bring: your instrument, school supplied instrument and equipment, pencils, music. Your dot book, that's something that we'll start using at pre-camp or camp. It's basically just a little 3x5 notebook where we kind of write notes on every single part of the show that we do. Proper attire, okay, school dress code, and then you've got to make sure that you are wearing tennis shoes. That's the big thing. Tennis shoes, school dress code. And then also a half-gallon jug or larger of water. We do give a lot of water breaks because we need a lot of water breaks. What we're doing is a lot more intense than some people may think, and you're going to want to make sure you stay hydrated. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Number one rule, don't be dumb on the internet. We use these avenues on a daily basis. It's necessary to be responsible in their use with regard to the program. If you have any sort of issue, we don't blast it out to anyone who will listen on the internet. We bring that issue to myself or Mr. Walter. If you have an issue with a student or a staff member, bring it to myself or Mr. Walter. Any kind of negative comments about another member of the program, whether it be a student, a parent volunteer, a staff member, it just simply won't be tolerated. Like we don't do that. We create a positive environment. If you are going to go and be irresponsible on the internet, Marching Band is probably not the group for you. We do utilize some Facebook groups. Like I said, search for South Anderson Band Boosters. That's where the parents kind of share a lot of information and things along those lines. That group is not intended for asking questions or anything like that. If you have a question about anything for the program, send it to myself. Send it to the Band Boosters. We'll get you an answer. We intend to use those groups just for positive information sharing purposes and celebrating our teams. A lot of times we'll post pictures on there from events. Sometimes if we have a nice recording, we'll throw that on there as well. Grades. Another no-brainer, but we just kind of want to get it out there. You're responsible for maintaining passing grades throughout the season. If you're failing in school, it's going to prohibit you from performing. If you aren't keeping up with the school's grade policies, it's the same with sports. Like, you can't participate in rehearsal. You can still come to rehearsal so you don't miss any information, but you're going to be sitting on the sideline. It's going to be expected that you're doing homework. If you're not keeping up with grades and not actively participating in rehearsal, you're probably going to be sitting out for a show or two. So just keep that in mind. We're here to be better people. Excel in school. School apparel and uniform. So while we're in any kind of apparel that has our logo on it, or if we're in our uniform, we just remember that we're representing the program, we're representing our staff, our school, and our entire community. So every single student is just expected to conduct themselves in a really professional way. And we just kind of always, we give everyone a reminder all the time, like, remember, you're wearing our logo, you're wearing our uniform, like, you're representing Southgate. And we want to be known to be the best of the best from Southgate. Any health forms or online forms? This says make sure they're in by the first day of rehearsal. We're giving you guys June 1st for a lot of that stuff. Sometimes we have to fill out a form, and then we ask similar questions on an online form, or it feels like we're sending basically two of the same form in different formats. There's a reason for every single form, and we understand that it can seem redundant, but please know that every single one serves its own function. Donation letters. This is a big fundraiser that we do every year. We started a few years ago. Sometime in June at one of the rehearsals, we're going to ask each member of the marching band for 5 personal names and business names and addresses. So start to get those now. So either 5 personal contacts or 5 business contacts, or a mix of both. Then what we're going to do is kind of have the kids fill out this form, this little pre-written letter that we have, along with a little personal note that we send to everyone for sponsorships. And it's proven to be really effective in the past, and we're kind of looking forward to doing that again. It's just one of those fundraisers that keeps dues as low as they are right now. Please just note on the outside of the envelope that they are donation addresses and your child's name. This will be due, June 24th, 2021. Looks like that's the date in there. So it'll probably be the rehearsal before that date or on that date, depending on whether or not you are in guard or percussion winds. Volunteer commitment. We talked about it earlier. Your final dues payment is going to be completely waived if you honor this volunteer commitment. Whereas it's a little bit lower than it has been in the past, I feel. So we're asking that band families commit to assisting with the home competition. It's going to be our first one in many, 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 many years. We need as many hands on deck to make that a successful event. We already have 5 or 6 bands already signed up that we're really excited about, and we want to make sure that they have an incredible time so they come back every year, and that so their band directors, when they talk with other band directors, talk about what a great time they had at our show, because the more bands we bring in the future, the more money our program can make, and potentially the more dues can start to come down even more than they already did this year. Bandorama. Bandorama is a giant concert, sometimes lasts a couple days, that we have at the high school. So that's one of the things we do at the end of the season. The Craft and Vendor Show. We host a huge one at the middle school in the fall. Need everyone help setting up, and the day of. And then one other volunteer day of your choosing. And then we have a volunteer sheet down there that it has a ton of volunteer opportunities. And we also have, like, if none of those seem to like suit you, we have a spot for like certain skills too, if you have any skills that you can help the band out with. So 4 things. That's all you got to do is just help out 4 times with us, and $150 off of your dues, just like that. In addition to this commitment, we are requiring that all members sell 10 tickets for a TV raffle. Like I said, they're $2 a piece. You can opt out of this for $30, but you can just spend $20 and maybe you'll win a TV. There's no buyout available for the volunteer opportunities above just the TV thing. Scrolling down, payment coupons. I don't know why this didn't format great on my computer, but it's going to be fine when you get the packet in your hand. The cost of marching band this season is $750 or $600 if you do your volunteer requirements. It's a huge drop from the 2019 season. Before the volunteer opportunities, that season costs $1,225. Between not going to band camp between not going away to band camp or hosting band camp at home and the winning for the band page that we had, we were able to bring dues down significantly. We want to make sure we continue to volunteer as much as possible to make our fundraisers as successful as possible to keep dues this low. If you have any questions, contact Brandy. Her email is on here too, somewhere here. Here it is down here, sbbtreasurer1@gmail.com. Any questions about anything regarding payments, talk to her. If you need a payment plan, feel free to reach out to me and or her. If payment is returned to us from the bank, here's a big one. You will be subject to up to $30 return check fee. Just make sure that if you're writing a check that we know that money is there. Please cut off the appropriate payment coupon. That's these down below. She made it really easy for you. Brandy made this up for you. You just cut this out, attach it with your check, put it in an envelope, and there you go. The next month, July, then August, September, and then this one up here, October. Remember, waived if your volunteer commitment is honored. Moving on. Our volunteer opportunities. I've talked so much about how volunteering is necessary. I don't need to go through and read everything that's up there. If you chair an event, so if you are someone who's in charge of organizing it, your name's going to be put into a raffle to win $50 in student credit at the November meeting. So if that's something you might be interested in. Dine to Donate, that's once a month. That's where we go to whatever restaurants and they give us X percentage of everyone's checks. They have that go back to the band program. So you'd be in charge of basically finding these opportunities, setting them up once a month throughout the year, and organizing all of that. Apparel order, putting together apparel, some Southgate band swag. Meals for show days. Show days are an all-day thing, and we like to try. We're hoping that we're going to be at a point where the pandemic has kind of passed us, and we'll be able to serve meals for everyone by the time we get to competitions. Pit crew. This is not a NASCAR pit crew, but I swear these families move just as quickly. These are these are the parents that help our front ensemble students. Those are the people that are in the sideline percussion in the front. We also call them the pit sometimes. They help them with their keyboards and the sound system, speakers, soundboard, all that, all the auxiliary percussion. They get all that stuff on the field in like the blink of an eye, and they have to get it all off right away because we have specific timing rules to follow when it comes to getting on and off the field at competitions. That's a really fun group to be a part of. Pulling trailers. If you have a truck and can pull a trailer, please do so. There are also some names kind of listed on here from people that are already chairing these events and these groups. Bus chaperones, super easy. You ride the bus to our competitions and you make sure our kids aren't crazy. I make sure the kids aren't crazy before they even get on the bus. You're just kind of the person who kind of monitors in the middle. They usually are great. They have a good time, but they're not too crazy or anything like that. Trailer maintenance, uniform crew. This is for people who measure and fit and order and fix and hem and all that with the uniforms. Nomination committee. This happens at the October, November, December meetings for the new booster board members. 50-50. We run a 50-50 as many events as we can. If you're interested in running that, we would love to have you involved. Concessions we do at some events. Our band banquet. We sell things at football games. March Music Meltdown is a pretty big band concert that we do in March. We kind of do it along with the marching band isn't really involved in that as much as the concert bands, both at the high school and the middle schools, and our winter programs, our winter guards and our winter drumline. We do a ham and cheesecake sale every Christmas and Easter. We do a bottle drive every year. We sell comfy, cozy sheets in August and December of each year. So I already talked about sponsorship letters, stickers we sell, tag days. That's where the students go door to door asking for donations to the band, and sometimes they'll play. They go in small groups and they'll play on people's lawns and kind of build some sense of community. Show shirts. That's ordering the shirt for what the kids will wear underneath their uniforms. We have we basically have a contest where the children will do a kind of like create a drawing for the show theme. And then we kind of select what that's going to be. And you're basically responsible for just ordering them. Flag sewing and cutting. This is a huge one. We really, 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 really need help. You do not have to be a color guard parent to help out with flag sewing and cutting. We would love to have you involved in this process. The more hands we have, the easier this job is. It can be a crazy one. Band on the lawn. We'll go and bring the marching. We have a raffle, and you can win an opportunity for the band to play on your lawn. So organizing that. Discount cards. A lot of sports and things do that. Building props for the show. We're about to have an idea probably within the next 2 weeks as to what we're expecting for props. So stay tuned for that. We use some props during our show to kind of convey the show theme and interact with. And then carpooling. There is a maximum per trip. It comes on a first come, first served basis. It does not count. If you sign up to carpool and you're only bringing your own child, that does not count as your volunteer opportunity. And then down here, if you have other skills that you can offer, throw them down there and wait for us to get in touch with you. We are over halfway through. Charms. Charms, like I said, is an office program that we use to kind of communicate everything. We throw handouts up there so they're available for everyone. It's really a great program. The first time you go here, you're going to enter your child's ID. This ID is going to be created. It's probably not going to be ready right away. I haven't talked yet with Brandy about this. I am assuming that once we get all of your paperwork in and we know that your student's going to be with marching band, then she's going to create a login for your student. That login will be, though, case sensitive. It's a 2-digit graduation year plus your first initial in caps and your last name in caps. For example, if your child's name is Tim Jones and graduates in 2022, the login would be 22T Jones. Please email if you need any further clarification. Email Brandy. That's what you're going to put into the student area password. Up here, if you see, we kind of have just one password or one school code. You just type in Southgate Band, all one word, to get to our band's Charms website. That'll bring you to a public page where, like I said, handouts and other shared files will be there. Do not use the Charms calendar. It doesn't sync well with our Google Calendar, and our Google Calendar is what we have synced to our school accounts and all that, and what's easiest to sync to your guys' phones. So if you say, I didn't know we had rehearsal because it wasn't on the Charms calendar, don't use the Charms calendar. Whenever you're using your username and password, a more detailed screen will come up to access different areas of your Charms account. You can update personal information. You'll also be able to see on there how much you've paid in band fees, how much you have left to pay. Some volunteer opportunities might be up there as well. It's a great communication program for us. The next form is a health release. It needs to be turned in on the 15th, if not sooner. The first would be awesome, with a copy of your health insurance card and license. We're almost done. Personal space agreement. This is kind of a no-brainer, but we like to kind of outline it just to make sure everyone's all on the same page. Some people are not the best at communicating when they feel uncomfortable. They may be embarrassed. They may have some anxiety, or might just think it's not a cool thing to say. But it's really important that we honor everyone's personal space. I know I am one that very much has a bubble and kind of freaks out if some people get a little too close. Everyone in this group should practice asking to sit next to someone or to borrow something, or if there's going to be any physical contact or anything like that. That's just something that we ask first. Okay. We want to make sure we also adhere to all school rules. The school doesn't tolerate anyone being in anyone else's personal space. We don't have to worry about beds because we're not at camp. But don't touch personal belongings, any kind of unwanted physical contact or anything like that. This is a zero tolerance policy. So should this occur, parent will be called to come and pick up their student. We haven't had an issue with it, but this is just something that we really want to outline. The next two forms, there's no logo on it or anything, so it's kind of hard to tell unless you read through it all. But this is a form from the Michigan Competing Band Association regarding Ford Field and state championships. Every single person who is going to be on the field or on the tunnel at Ford Field, whether you're a parent or volunteer, has to fill out a liability waiver. We don't know for sure what parents are going to be with us. It's a select number of volunteers that we're allowed to have out on the field or helping us out on the field, like the pit crew and prop crew. But we are sending forms for both students and adults because we have to have them all in way in advance. So we just want to have everyone sign that just in case you're going to be one of the parents that is on Ford Field with us. Want to make sure every single person fills this out and we just have it ahead of time. The next form after that, I threw 2 copies of it on here. It's just the background check that the school district has. Like I mentioned, you'll need if you're going to be around children at all. And the very last, I think this is the last page, is just another contact form or another list of contacts. That's a lot bigger. In case you misplace anything, you have an extra sheet that has all that. So that is all of our paperwork. Like I said, I get that was a whole lot. Some of it was kind of redundant as well. We understand that, like we said, there is a purpose for every form. Once we collect the big packet of forms, like they go in some different places, they go to some different people. We understand it's a lot. If you have questions, please go over this video again. If you feel that I wasn't clear on something, I do apologize, but I'm more than willing to sit down and have a conversation with you and make sure that we can clarify anything and make sure that you and your child are involved with our program. So like I said, any questions, reach out to me, reach out to the band boosters. Thank you for joining band. It's going to be an absolutely incredible season. We're so impressed with the rookie class. They missed a lot of information that is usually taught in person in their band class. And they showed up to to march to our experience camps and our first rehearsal so far, and they have just been. You would never guess that they were rookies. They're keeping up with a lot of the rest of the band, and it's really exciting to see. So we're gonna have a great year. Again, any questions? Reach out to me. My email is down here to the right. My camera's a little weird there. There we go. But yeah, thanks for joining band. It's gonna be a great time.